Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Mama Modoni. I'm a mommy of two babies. I have a daughter who's now 3 years, 3 months. I think it's been a while since we spoke with you guys. And then now PC is 14 months going to 15 months. He could actually might be 15 months, I'm not sure. Yeah, and that's my little family. I also am a lactation peer supporter. I'm a certified child nutrition practitioner. So if you need any help with lactation or with weaning, or if you are just having issues with motherhood, anything to do with motherhood, sleep schedules, adjusting, trying to find a way to just settle yourself, I'm the person to go to. I'll put my number down below, but you can also just find my how to book me on Instagram or on my WhatsApp. So I'm about to turn 35, and I've been feeling many things. At the beginning of this year, when I realized I was going to be 35, I really panicked. I was so scared. I kept feeling so unachieved. So, like, the things that I had imagined I would have achieved by now, I hadn't achieved. Mostly to do with my business, not really to do with kids. Although still, I wish I had like a third child, but that didn't make me feel as bad as feeling like I have not achieved what I needed to achieve in terms of my career. And I kept panicking, and I kept feeling, oh my god, 14 is just here, and there's so much that I've not done. And then there was COVID, so I'm feeling all these things, and then COVID comes, and there's so much anxiety surrounding that. And then the feeling that you've lost a whole year. But with time, I feel like I've now settled a bit more, and I'm now just thinking about my life and thinking about the lessons that I've learned and what I need to apply for now moving forward for the rest of my, let me not say the rest of my life, but for the next half, or at least for the next 5 years, as because learning is a continuous process. That's one of the things I wrote down. So one of the things that I've been writing about this week is friendship. And I feel like over the years I've learned so much about friendship, and I've learned so much about how to manage my expectations, and also learned how to distinguish between a friend and acquaintance, a person I know. And I feel a lot of people, especially men, are not able to really distinguish between those. To distinguish. Yeah, and I just want to share those lessons with you. So one of the things that I feel really resonate with me is that seasons change and friendships change, and it's okay that through some seasons you don't keep all the friends that you had kept before, because life happens. But I feel like as we grow older and as we get to our personal milestones, let me call them that, like when you get children, especially when you get married, for some people, and your friends change, I feel like a lot of people carry a lot of hurt and a lot of bile and a lot of anger towards friends that they lose once they get children. So for me, it was a bit of like, my life changed quite a bit when I had my kids. For some people, when they get married, they lose friends. I didn't lose my friends when I got married, but my dynamics changed when I got kids. And I feel like we lose friends through so many seasons. So why don't we feel bile when we lose friends in other seasons, but feel bile when we lose friends during childbirth or marriage? One of the things that I remember distinctly my mom telling me when I was in Form 4, that was 17 years ago. And she said, you better enjoy your friends right now, because there are some people you will never see ever again. It's been 17 years. I keep in touch with maybe, and it's not regularly keep in touch, but we are sort of acquaintances with about maybe 4 or 5 of the ladies I was with in high school. The rest, almost 40 or 35 of them, over half of them I've never even seen from the time we graduated or finished high school. And I just did not get what my mom was saying at that time. In fact, in my mind I was like, oh, you don't even know. These days we have mobile phones, there's the internet, there's all these things. You guys didn't have that, and that's why you feel like that is your truth. That won't be my truth. But you know what, it's the truth. You go to nursery school, you lose friends after that. Primary, you lose friends. High school, you lose friends. Uni, you lose friends. You change job, you lose some friends, and it's okay. So why do you usually feel that now you've gotten a kid, right? Your life has changed. So why do you feel that your friends who don't have children, who you have now lost, that it's their fault that the friendship has ended? Why is it that you don't feel that? For example, if you were in high school in Kakamega Girls, I don't even know it's a school that exists. And then now from there, the people from Kakamega, the people from Nairobi, the people from Nakuru, and blah 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 and blah blah blah. So after that, you'll lose some friends. So why do you feel that You don't feel that in high school, for example, you've come back to Nairobi or wherever it is that you are living, and you don't start saying, oh, my friends should have understood I've come back to Nairobi, oh, my friends are not even happy for me that now I've come back home, oh, my friends, oh, my friends. So they're not good, basically. So when is it that now you have gotten a child, your life has changed, your dynamics have changed, but you just want your friends to understand you and your situation? It's quite selfish because you're the one who changes the dynamics of the friendship, especially if you're young, probably let's say below 28, and all of your friends don't have kids yet or are not married yet, or those whose dynamics change when they get married. So, for example, you're below 25 or you're 30, and the life that you and your friends live is you go to the bar, you have drinks, you go out shopping, you do this, you go for coffee, you wake up and go for trips, or whenever it is that you want to go, you wake up on a Sunday, hey, let's go, let's do. And then all of a sudden, you, mama, yes, you change, and on Sunday, you don't have a house help, so where are you going? On Sunday, you have to breastfeed. You now have to think about your money because you have diapers to pay, to buy, you have rent to pay, you have school fees to think about in future, especially if you're a single mom, and you have all these things, and you have changed the dynamics. Yet you want all your friends who you were, you're the one who was here. Then now you've left here, you've come here. Then now you want all of them to follow you here, and you're not willing to meet them here. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And I always thank my friend Shiro because she's the one who really made me see things like this. Because at the beginning, when I was pregnant, one day I called her. So my friend has always been a mom from the time we met her. She has an older child, and then she got her second child before any of us got a child, and then now I got a child. And she told me when I was complaining that, oh, these people don't even understand me. I talk about my vagina paining. That was my biggest complaint, and they don't even get me. They don't even try and inquire why. And she told me, you know what, Wangeshi? If you want to keep your friendship, it's you to work hard. And I always remember that, and I always try and meet my friends somewhere. And another thing that I know one of my friends has really struggled with is finding me on the phone, because we used to talk in the evenings. But in Wangeshi's household, to date, between 5 and 8 o'clock, don't call me. It's dinner time, it's shower time, it's putting kids to bedtime. It's a bit of my downtime, so it's not a good time for me. So it's me who's changed the dynamic. So that means then it's me to give her a call when I am available, because she's available after work, which is after 5. After 5, I'm not available because I'm taking care of children. So that means it's now my responsibility to make sure that I am able to reach out to her when I have the time, and then it's my responsibility to make her feel that she's still important to me. Other things that I find that over the years I have really learned is learning to distinguish between a friend and an acquaintance, and learning to distinguish when you're somebody's friend and when they are your friend, because there's a bit of a difference. So for example, let's say you're Jerry and I'm Jerry's friend. That means when Jerry is in trouble, I comfort her, I talk to her, I listen to her, I sort out her life. But when Wangeshi is in trouble, because I'm not Jerry's friend, but what am I saying? So I'm her friend, right? I'm Jerry's friend, but Jerry is not my friend. Like, she doesn't consider me her friend, but may consider her my friend. That means that I will put in more than she will put in. And for me, that was just the biggest thing for me to learn. And to date, I still struggle. There's a group of friends that I really struggle with because I feel like I'm not their friend, or they're not they don't consider me as a close friend the way I used to consider them, because at some point I used to consider them really my closest friends, and then I realized by the way we are not as close friends. I struggle with letting them go because they're good people. And that's the other thing. Just because somebody is not a good friend to you doesn't mean that they're not good people. Same thing with a man. A man can treat you not very well and go and treat somebody else like a queen. It doesn't mean that he's a bad man. It's the dynamics of your relationship or the dynamics of your friendship that's not working for the both of you. You get what I mean? So somebody can be a good person, they just don't value you as a friend. It doesn't mean that they're a bad person. It just means that the way you value them as a friend, they don't value you as a friend. It doesn't mean that they're a bad person. Okay, I hope I'm really making a lot of sense. And I feel like sometimes the minute you're able to understand that and to distinguish within your groups and within yourself who's your friend and who's just a good person to be around, and who's your drinking buddy and who's your shopping buddy, and who's your mom friend and who's your friend for life, and who's your friend in marital struggles and who's your friend in business struggles. And sometimes all this can be one person, but oftentimes it's not one person, and that's okay. And it's wrong for us to feel bile and to feel hurt when somebody is not like you're expecting a drinking buddy to be your ride or die, as in it can be the same person but it doesn't have to be the same person. And when your drinking buddy is not your ride or die, it doesn't mean that that person is a bad person. It's just you who has expectations that have not been met, and likely you did not look at the situation, is the word pragmatic, or with a sober mind, just to make sure that you won't get hurt. Am I making sense? The other thing that I also realized is that, like, in my teens and in my early 20s, I really was not very good friends with my mom. But as I grow older, I'm really, really becoming such, like, my mom and I are such good friends, and I really, really enjoy that friendship. And it's one of the reasons I really used to want a girl for a firstborn. And I really pray that Nodoni and I, like, grow into that. I don't look forward to the teen years, because my teen years with my mom was so until I grew old and I realized how much like I am. But they really were not a lot of fun. Like, we used to fight so much, and that's also okay. So if you used to have a relationship with your mom where you used to fight and now you're old and you still haven't gotten close, maybe make an effort. And friendships are also so much work. But they always say friendship is a scam, just like marriage, just like having kids. And a lot of people feel uncomfortable when I say that having kids or being married is a scam. And what I always mean is the thing and the dreams that you had when you were 20 about how all this thing is going to look like, it doesn't really look like that. It's beautiful, because having kids is like the best thing anybody can ever do for themselves. But it's hard, and I think I just never expected it to be emotionally hard. Sometimes it's physically hard, sometimes, but it's the best. Like, I can't just wake up and say, but then today I'm going. I have to think about my kids. Sorry. I have to think about my kids. And then with marriage or any relationship that you have, it's constant work, and you constantly have to be working hard at it. And even with friendship, it's the same way. You constantly have to edify it. You constantly have to put fertilizer, and you constantly have to, it's continuous work. Every single day you have to work on your friendships. And if you don't work on your friendships, and all of a sudden, because now you're married and not all your focus has turned to the husband, and then you get a kid and all your focus has turned to the kids, and then you leave your friends there, at some point I feel like you're really going to regret it, because this man cannot be your everything. He can't be your friend, your lover, your husband, your provider, your priest, you this, you this, you this. You need something else or somebody else or other people to be other things to you, so that this man and this family doesn't bear all your expectations, because it's a lot of expectations for one person to bear. And I feel like also our moms, especially the older generation, always tell us to have our own things and to have our own friends and to have all these things. And I feel like that is why, because it's really a lot of expectations that you put on one person when you lose all your friends all of a sudden now because you're married and you have kids, and you did not put the effort to keep them. Does that make sense? Okay, like asking that question a lot. So I asked on Instagram people to tell me their lessons about friendships. So I'll just read a few of them and then we'll finish the video. It's okay when a friendship ends. Don't talk bad or relieve secrets. Move on. Move on. Okay, so the other thing is saying. Move on, but keep the door closed. I don't know. I think it depends on why your friendship ended. If your friendship ended, like I have a friend, I really love her a lot, and I'm her baby's godmom. And our friendship ended because I moved to Australia, and then when I came back, I moved to Kakuma, and that was like maybe 6-7 years of our lives. So she grew and I grew, and we didn't grow together, so our friendship sort of drifted apart. That door is not closed because I really still love that, as in honestly I really love her, but life. So I wouldn't close that door just because that friendship has ended, unless if somebody has betrayed you, then maybe you can close the door, but if it's not betrayal, I don't see why. Friendships need as much work or more than relationships. I completely agree. And in the same breath, friendships end, and that's perfectly okay. Without bias. Remember earlier I said that sometimes friendships they run their natural course. Same way even as relationships or anything else, they run their natural course, and it's okay for them to end. Sometimes letting go is the best decision, especially if it's a friendship that's not edifying you, or a friendship where you're not friends the same way. Like I talked about on one of my posts, I talked about one of my friends who, she was my friend but I was not her friend, and when I was really struggling, and I remember my husband reached out to her, and I don't want to say I was suicidal, but I really wanted to harm my body because my heart was really hurting at that time. And I told her all those things, and she never reached out. and I had so much bile against her. But then later, one day she said, I really cannot lose my friendship with so and so. As in, she said, but then I really have to work hard on my friendship with, let's call her Susan, because I can't afford to lose it. That day I realized that she was my friend, but I was not her friend. And therefore, I had expectations of her that she couldn't meet. And those are expectations that I created. She had not told me, Wangeshi, you're my good friend. I had just decided in my mind that she was my BFF, and she was not. And she's not a bad person. She's kind-hearted. She's good. She's a good person. But I had expectations of her that she couldn't meet. And because I realized that, I decided to let go of the expectations and let go of that friendship. And therefore, if you find yourself in such a situation, letting go sometimes is actually the best thing. I've learned a lot from your post. I need to work on my friendships. Yes, you need to actually edify your friendships and dig and put manure. Not all friends are meant for all seasons of your life. That's so true. Some are meant for a certain period only, and that is okay. There's nothing wrong with a good time friend. There's nothing wrong with a campus friend. There's nothing wrong with a childhood friend. I mean, it's a relationship. Effort and work must be put in both ways to maintain a friendship. That's so true. It's not, but then I really don't enjoy putting in work. As in, now I put in work with my husband, and then I put in work with Motoni, and then I put in work with PC, and then I put in work with my house help. So one of them is so like emotional and sensitive. And then I have to put in work with my mother and father, and I have to put in work with my siblings, and then I have to put in work with my friends. Like, their life as an adult is just hard. Oh, there's a lot of this. Some friendships are for a season, and that's perfectly okay. There's a lot of that. Friendships are organic, and at the same time, intentional. Whether you have to be very intentional with your friendships, that's so true. Very intentional. Boundaries are very important, and that's with any relationship. You have to have and know your boundaries. That is so true. Don't let your friends be too close to your man. Mine just ended up marrying. Mine just ended up marrying my man. I guess that's what she meant. I don't know, man. Marrying my boyfriend. I don't know. As in, if people are going to have an affair, whether you allow them to or not, they'll have an affair. They don't need your permission to get married. They don't need your permission to be friends. So, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Sometimes you have to overlook stuff to keep the friendship, but also sometimes you have to grow. That's so true. It's just like any relationship. Like, your mom will piss the shit out of you, and you just have to overlook and move forward. So even with friends, to be a better friend and not to force friendships, that's true. You have to be the kind of friend that you want people to be to you. Otherwise, it won't. You can't be expecting people to be good friends to you. I said in one of my posts, like you're expecting your friends not to gossip about you, but you're gossiping about them. You want your friends to be able to lend you money, but you don't lend them. You want your friends to cry with you and to come hold your baby, but you don't do that. Doesn't work like that. The older you get, the more friends you lose. I don't want to think about lose. It's not. I don't feel like it's losing friendships. I feel like it's the smaller your circle gets, because now you start realizing that you don't need 50 people around your life. It's a lot of work trying to cultivate 50 friendships, right? So you just outgrow. So this lady says they were an eye opener. So many things I took for granted. That was in regards to my post. Not everyone you consider a friend is really a friend. That's true. Give what you think, and sometimes we push so much and there's no one to pull you. I don't know. I don't believe in tit for tat. I believe in tender wemba nenda zako. As long as somebody is not taking advantage of you, right? And you also know the level of expectation to have from that person. Never share secrets with your best friend. It will come to bite you in the ass, and that's not your best friend. That's just someone you thought was your best friend, but was not your best friend. That it means a different thing to different friends. Oh, that is so true. Again, whether it's just about bar friend, shopping friend, coffee friend, talk about men friend. My most recent lesson is that not everyone who you call a friend is a friend. 100%. Two friends are like fine wine. It gets better with time. Oh, that's so true. Especially with my girlfriends. I really hope we are able to stay until we are like 60 or 70 and 90. You can never compensate a friend money because they never pay back. So that just help them with what you have. I don't know. My friend has given me money and I've paid back. I've given my friends money and they've paid back. Sometimes, yeah, there's been a lot of this. Somebody here says friendships are overrated. I don't think friendships are overrated. You need friends. You need people around. You need a tribe. You need women to surround you, to support you. You just need to find your own tribe and find your own people and find friends who are good for you. I hope that video was good for you. Let me know what else you'd like me to discuss. Remember, if you need support with breastfeeding, if you need support with weaning or anything to do with motherhood, I also sell jams and nut butters. My page is at africancara.com for the nut butters. Let me know. Thank you so much for tuning in, and see you next time. And remember, you're doing great, mama.